I have like it's just basically like a start streaming option.
Okay.
And so
So I'll record my intro and then like as soon as I'm done the intro, you can start then, I guess.
oh, I'm
If
already set
that's
up. I got the live going.
Oh, okay, we're live. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's nobody's probably setting up in right now
Yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yes, here we go. All right. Okay, then let's get started here. Okay, I'll start my recording. Hey guys, and welcome to the Frozen Football channel. This will be my first ever video. I'm pretty excited to be joined by Alex Regan, fellow YouTuber.
How's
He
it going,
makes
my
some
boy?
great videos. I will leave channel link for him in the description. He makes awesome prospect breakdowns. I've done a mock draft with him before, even
Yep.
though I haven't posted anything. And he's been also helping me out just kind of to get my legs under me. Awesome draft guy. Today we're going to be talking about some cornerbacks. Don't expect this to be the most professional and amazingly edited cornerback video, but what I do hope for is to have a good discussion and kind of get our, dip our feet a bit in the water for this cornerback class. We had some superlatives we wanted to talk about in
Yep.
terms of these corners, who we like, and yeah, so we can go ahead. Alex, if you want to introduce
Yeah.
yourself.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Alex Regan, NFL. I make draft content stuff. I have a draft board with 266 NFL draft prospects. Is kind of the thing that I want to be known as, but I do prospect breakdowns. I do a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah. So we're gonna talk about superlatives or whatever. I don't exactly know. I don't know how it's pronounced, but we're gonna be talking about the best of each category, basically for some of these cornerbacks. And do you want to start off with one specific one, or
Sure, yeah. So let's just start with our man coverage. This is just the order I wrote it down, no particular order. So actually superlative, like just for clarification, it just means like it's like a synonym of like best, or like it's just like a fancy word of saying that. So like the highest in each category type of thing. So we're here with man coverage, who I put down best guy in man in this class. And I have this guy down a lot, and we didn't really want to repeat guys, but I think I do have to mention it. Put down Kool-Aid McKinstry,
yeah, I'm big on that
best
too.
guy in man coverage.
I'm big on that too. Yeah, Kool-Aid McKinstry. I have a few. I have three that are in the conversation.
I
Um,
agree. We might have the same three guys
yeah.
even.
So if you got Kool-Aid McKinstry, then
Mm,
I would have him, but I think Renardo Green is going to be not my number one. I think Renardo Green is
okay.
the best man coverage cornerback. He had a crazy game against Malik Neighbors. I think he had a 90.0 man coverage grade according to PFF as well. Only allowed like I have to look up the numbers. It had to be like 50 or some ridiculous number.
Yeah,
Renardo Green, FSU
he's a
guy.
monster in man and press. He'll have like he'll definitely have some good versatility in terms of that at the next level here. But
Coverage scheme. But yeah, no. Coolin McKinstry for man coverage, yeah, because Alabama, they run like a unique really style of defense where they have kind of one side is a zone and then they have one side it's man. They run that sometimes. And what Coolin McKinstry was always in that man press area, and then Terrion Arnold was more in that zone style of deep blues or flats, and then Coolin McKinstry was really one on ones. But
yeah,
yeah,
it was really Kool-Aid Island out there for him. A few things that I just thought he does exceptionally well in man coverage is his ability to not waste steps. So, like, I remember one specific rep I was watching film actually yesterday against Texas, and he's got Worthy's like giving him the business on a route coming up, and he does like some like fake out route into like a perfectly timed stop to curl back.
mm,
And it's kind of like a little bit of a whip, but it was like 10 yards out. And Kool-Aid one when Worthy takes his step outside, Kool-Aid goes with him, and as soon as Worthy's flipping his hips to stop, Kool-Aid takes one step and he's recovered. He
Yeah, he does not waste a
and
lot of
I think
steps.
that rep was just like the like epitome of his game is that he's so calm and he just it seems like he knows what to do almost all the time. Even if you're faster than him, even if you're better than him, it doesn't matter to this guy and his technique in terms of movement and like not how quickly he moves, but just how he moves is just incredible. And I thought that it allowed him to be pretty sticky in man coverage.
Yeah, I mean I agree a lot. He did look very comfortable on tape compared to like Terry and Arnold. He really wanted to make the big play. He was always trying to jump
Mhm.
at something, and then Cooler McKinstry was more of just really calm and collected. I think his technique is really there. His footwork, you got great footwork with his back pedal. He does not waste a lot of steps. I remember we talked about this on Discord. But for me, Renardo Green, he allowed on 32 targets in man coverage. He allowed only 15 catches, 136 yards, 48 yards after catch, and he had one touchdown allowed, but he did have one interception. 90 PFF grade in man coverage. The only one that was above him in this, or the only two really, Elijah Jones and Gerard Jones. Gerard Jones, his teammate, was more in the slot, but then Elijah Jones out of Boston College. But he only played 9 games. But outside of that, I would say then also Cam Hart is another really good man, but I wouldn't put him above Renardo Green for the first superlative.
Oh yeah, I haven't been able to get a full dive into Green, but he's one of my next guys that I'm kind of looking at. It seems like people are pretty high on him as like a
Yeah,
press man guy. If
yeah,
like
he's a press man.
if you miss out on Kool-Aid in round one, go grab this guy. What in round two, round three, and you'll be pretty happy about like how he fits into like a man system.
Yeah, I think that's where he fits best. Not the best in zone. This because he played, I think, the majority of the time. He played
Mhm.
147 snaps in man coverage compared to what was it, 160 in zone. But then he was in the 60s for that grade. I think he does fit best in the press man. But then moving on to the
Nice.
second superlative, would we go to zone?
Yeah, yeah. Take it away.
I think it's going to be. It's an interesting conversation, but I think hypothetically it would be Terrion Arnold, who is my best cornerback in this class. It's just not necessarily about any grades or any statistics. It just feels like he has some of the best instincts and the best hands in this class for the cornerbacks. And it just feels like in zone, it's not more about comfortability. It's more about he is always making a play and he's always reacting quickly to break up a pass, and he knows exactly where to put his hands to force an incompletion or to do something. Another good player in zone coverage would also be, you could say, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. or Kamari Lassiter is more of a man guy, but I would say that Terran Arnold fits more. And also, oh, my bad, Cooper DeJean would be another very
Yeah.
good zone coverage guy. But for me, it's Terran Arnold.
Wow. That is interesting. Because I had Arnold as like kind of my next guy up for for
He's
man
good in man, but
coverage.
I think he's better in zone. I think he has like three picks in zone.
I thought he was kind of mediocre in zone
Mm,
coverage from watching him. Like you can tell that he has good instincts sometimes. Like you said, he jumps routes really well. He has good aggressive tendencies. And I mean he had crazy ball production.
yeah.
Like the exact ball production you want. That comes from Terrion Arnold. I think over 10 pass breakups, 5 picks.
Yeah, he
Uh,
had 5 interceptions. And I think it was nine, maybe? Or no,
mhm.
it had to be like 10. I think you're right.
Yeah, I thought his zone just lacked like a little bit of polish. I thought he was
Yeah.
maybe not like, maybe he's not bad, but I think he was a bit green in zone, as in like, he only started 2 years
Yeah.
and I think he focused more on like how he can stick to receivers and man coverage. But I thought overall in zone coverage, his overall feel, like his ability to like backpedal and stuff, like while keeping his eyes on the quarterback wasn't as good as I would have liked. I thought in zone that he sometimes just opens up his hips a little bit early in zone coverage, I thought, especially on like like deeper curl routes. I
Yeah.
think he got beat a lot in like a little bit too much in those. Like obviously, like if you're playing off zone as like a perimeter defender in cover three, like I'm not gonna expect you to be able to stop curl routes all the time.
Yeah.
But in terms of those like 15-yard curl routes, that kind of stuff, I thought he got a little bit too hungry to protect the big play, and sometimes he just was a little slow to react, like moving downhill.
Yeah. I think it's because
That's like kind of what I thought about his zone coverage.
yeah, he also he I think I'm in agreement with that because he definitely didn't want to give up the big play because on multiple occasions in my film, he could be susceptible because he just would
Hmm.
bite. But he also is a bit new to the position. He was a
Yeah,
five-star safety out of
for
high
sure.
school, and my comparison for him is he's like if you put a Pro Bowl level safety and just taught him cornerback technique and just kind of put him out there in zone. The guy who, in my opinion, but he's not in this class. But Sebastian Castro, if you don't know him from Iowa, he was crazy in zone coverage. But obviously he's not in
Oh
this
yeah.
class. But he had 3 picks, 0 touchdowns, a 36.8 passer rating allowed in zone, 91.7 grade, which was first, and he was the best. I remember when I was watching Cooper DeJean, I was like, this guy is. I remember I think messaged you. This guy is
Yeah.
the best slot in next year's class.
Oh yeah, I didn't really notice that, but I'll have to take a look when I do my next Dijin game. I think I wanted to do one more. In terms of my guy who I put in for zone, I actually had two guys who I thought I agreed with you that Dijin has pretty good zone feel. He just works well, kind of working downhill, like back
Yeah,
towards the line of scrimmage. His just his ability to kind of snap and because he doesn't have the most fluid hips,
yeah, his
but he
hips are really
does have good
stiff.
acceleration. Like he's a good athlete. He's a good athlete. So him being able to kind of stare at you and like see you like and just flick and not have to worry about turning too much from an off zone point of view, he breaks on balls like with the best players in this class for sure.
Yeah,
And he's big, he's long, he's physical, so he can fight. He's really good, I think, at coming to the catch point and fighting at the catch point from an off zone coverage type of thing. So that's why I had him as like my top zone guy, but I also thought Quinyon Mitchell
mm,
similarly.
I
I
think
thought
Quinyon
Quinyon
Mitchell's
Mitchell
raw.
similarly a
I just
little
think
bit,
Quinyon
but I
Mitchell's
thought he was
super raw.
similarly good. Yeah, I thought he was similarly good in off zone coverage.
Mm.
In terms of like, I don't think his like feel was as good as DeJean's, but I thought like he's way more quick twitch
Hmm.
and he can flip his hips, he can move like crazy. So and he also fights hard at the catch point. So I think it was like kind of two different skill sets, but they create the same kind of strength, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when I was watching Toledo, he was. I don't think there was a snap. I mean, a bit of an exaggeration, but he played like 9.5 or 8.5 yards off the line of scrimmage, literally every time
He
outside
did,
of him
yeah.
playing press. But yeah, Quinyon Mitchell to me is just raw, very raw technically. He really isn't trying to focus on his back pedal as much. It's more of his athletic traits really carrying him a ton, and like because he can carry anybody downfield. Ran a 4.43 at the combine. His command really was off coverage, but high instincts, really really quick, fluid hips as well. So he's got all these athletic traits, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of the competition he faced at Toledo was just kind of not there. And then technically, I think he'll need to be coached up in that department. But other than that, I mean, Quinyon Mitchell is my CB2 in this draft. But yeah, I think man coverage could be his strong suit if he does get better with that because of his
Hmm.
athletic traits. He can really just carry, and he also plays well physically and the instincts and then the ball production. So I think man could end up being one of his strong suits, but zone is what he played mostly at Toledo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he is definitely like more of a raw. Like he's raw, but he's also like it's just because like a lack of experience in like a one-on-one tight man coverage. But everything you saw from him was just, I mean,
He was killing.
crazy.
He was
Like,
killing everybody at the Group 5 level. Like there was no
yeah,
wide
and
receiver at that
then
level that could
Mhm.
play with him other than
And
Marvin Harrison in 2022.
I think he had one of the best pre-draft processes this draft
Hmm.
as well. Watching the Senior Bowl, I hadn't like heard of him too much, and then I watched the Senior Bowl, even on TV, like not as like a tight or as a guy that's there in person, I could tell that that guy was killing dudes. Then he comes out and has a crazy combine. So he's been
Yeah.
on definitely a stock up kind of guy, and he definitely he just needs to develop a little bit. And we don't even know. The thing is, we don't even know if he's good in press and like in tight man because he just didn't play it.
Yeah, he didn't
And
play. Yeah, he never played man.
the question is, did the coaches make him avoid that because he wasn't good, or did they make him avoid it because he's just so good at off zone? Why would he switch it up, type of thing? Um, so there's that.
Do you see the Zoom
I
time?
do. That's
It don't matter.
hilarious.
But
That is hilarious.
yeah. And the what's the next superlative? I'm pretty sure.
Fluidity.
I mean, that could have been Mitchell as well.
Mitchell, Arnold,
Yeah,
just these
Mitchell
top
Arnold.
guys. Like at corner, you do want the good athletes,
Yeah.
and those are the guys at the top, Mitchell and Arnold.
I don't think I think
The
Wiggins is
reason,
in that conversation too. He could
yes,
be.
yes, he certainly is, certainly. Yeah, and Wiggins as well. That's who I kind of wrote. I also wrote like a sneaky later round guy. I don't think he's as fluid as these guys, but he's still like really fluid. DJ James
Yeah, I
out
have
of
not watched any
Auburn.
Auburn.
He's pretty fluid. He's a little small, and he moves really well around the field. That's kind of his main thing. So, in terms of like him flipping his hips and stuff, he was at least like somewhat close to the top guys and on like how fluid they are. I mean, Nate Wiggins, if he was just bigger,
Yeah, his
you could be
wingspan's a little.
talking about
His
you could be talking
wingspan and
about
then the
a
weight too.
really, really nice guy. Because I was, I saw he ran a 4.29, and I was like, all right, this guy, like, maybe even like top 10 pick, like potentially. And then he comes in, he got hurt, and then
Hmm.
uh and then he's 173.
Yeah, that's more of
That's like
like the
Emmanuel Forbes, dude.
yeah,
That's
it's like he's the
brutal.
opposite of Forbes, but in the same like category. But like
It's
he's
like
different because he's a man guy.
I'm definitely less concerned about him than Forbes because,
Yeah, much less concerned.
he's a man coverage guy.
Hmm.
He made plays. Forbes was like one of those like off zone guys that was a ball hawk because of
Yeah,
his instincts in off
six
zone.
pick
But
sixes too. Crazy
but
ball production.
yeah, and like Nate Wiggins, like he can play tight man coverage. He even likes to be physical. It's just I don't know how he's gonna go. Like, what if he matches up against like DK Metcalf? That's the comp all the time. If there's a small corner, is like, what if they play against DK Metcalf or AJ Brown? But like, seriously, what if you're in a playoff game and the offense can
Yeah,
dictate the pace? The offense can dictate the pace of the game. Like sometimes, what's gonna happen when he's motioned in and you're kind of like you're screwed? I mean, AJ Brown is just gonna he's got like 60 pounds on him.
yeah. I kind of have maybe an audible with the superlative. I
Mm,
would most physical cornerback, the best with physicality and the best
mhm.
press. I would say more or less.
Uh,
I have two, but really one. I think Kamari Lassiter is the best at the line of
okay.
scrimmage and the best with his using his physicality to his advantage. Because I mean, he's a 4'6" guy at the
Yeah.
at the 4'6" guy at the Pro Bowl or at the Pro Day for Georgia, but consistently on tape, this dude is just putting his hands in everybody's chest, trying to stab people at the line of scrimmage. And I know that he played boundary most of the time at Georgia, but he can move into the slot and he'll be fine because he plays with a great physical nature. He's always
Yeah.
coming down to the line of scrimmage to help in the run game as well. And whenever he get to play, he just smacks himself on the helmet. But yeah, Kamari Lassiter is my best press man slash physicality cornerback.
Yeah, I definitely like that. He's a little bit smaller for like one of those guys that's so physical,
Yeah,
but I do agree, like, you know, I haven't fully dove into his tape, but from everything I've heard, this guy is just a competitor. Like he wants to be in your face. He presses guys like nobody's business. Um, Second guy I wanted to add in terms of physicality, Cooper DeJean as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
I thought, I thought like, and especially in like zone chucking, if that makes sense. Like if while he's dropping back into his zone, he's a receiver's coming by, he's gonna give him a little chuck within like a couple of yards of the line of scrimmage and really displace him off his route. I saw him do that multiple times, or even like if he's in like a curl flat or just like a flat zone and he's on in press on a defender, he'll give him a little push and then drop back into his zone. I thought he was really good at that. But also at the line of scrimmage, like he's had a pretty good press technique and he's just a big guy, big and strong and athletic. So and he's bigger than a lot of receivers nowadays. So that was like a pretty good thing from him. And I also thought like his physicality was like increased in run defense.
Yeah.
Just
Another good
his
run defender.
ability to like I saw him like genuinely pushing back receivers in
Yeah.
when they would run at him or when there was a screen on his way. And that was like I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you want.
Cooper DeJean has massive arms. I also think it's
Yeah.
aided because he's got massive arms.
Mhm. Yeah, he was really good in that. Um, for our next superlative, we had overrated
I
and
have I
yeah.
mean overrated in terms of is everybody dogging this guy already, or is in
Here,
terms of
let me guess you're overrated.
I have two actually.
Okay, one of them's Quinyon Mitchell, I think.
No,
For you, no?
Quinyon
Okay.
Mitchell's my CB2,
No,
actually.
okay, because I thought he seems as consensus one number one now.
I do see him as that, but I mean, I have him at two. I can definitely like he has a ton of potential, and the athletic traits will carry him. But my two are, from the all the advanced analytics guys. They love him, and they're like, this is the most underrated cornerback in this draft. It is Kamal Hayden. Kamal Hayden had a
Okay.
crazy amount. Like he had a 7 passer rating allowed, but the film junkies hate Kamal Hayden because he can't tackle. He cannot. He flat out cannot tackle. He tries to arm tackle everybody. In coverage, he's good, but the 7 passer rating was so inflated, and then he got hurt, so his season ended. So Kamal Hayden is
Yeah,
one
if
of
you
those.
can't tackle, I mean, you
He
can't
can't
play,
tackle. He
right?
reminds me
Yeah.
so much of C.J. Henderson.
Like can't tackle, like
He can't
actually,
tackle.
like
He
he's
can.
awful.
He can't tackle. Well, it's
Mm,
not that he can't tackle, but he struggles a lot, and he just keeps on trying to arm tackle, and
mm.
he'll be you'll be right here, and he'll go like this, and when he's not going to put his body into it, and then he lost Tennessee a game this year because he missed a tackle. And then my other guy is Kalen King. I don't think he's a draftable cornerback, but
I don't think I think everyone's low on him now.
everybody's dogging him. So yeah, that would be my like. I had people said he was
Yeah.
like people. I mean, so still now they have him as like a day two, like a late day two guy. I think
Hmm.
he's a day
Who?
four guy.
No way.
Like
Day
like
two.
the people that put out these reports back in before the draft
Mm,
process.
that's crazy.
But
No
no, he's
chance,
a
man.
day four guy. I would say,
Yeah.
which is
My
undraftable.
overrated guy was Arnold, actually.
Oh,
I liked his tape. I liked it, but I did not see him as like this like consensus top 20 guy who is a first on like a decent most people like people who don't have Quinion have him first.
yeah, like
I
Danny
thought
Jeremiah.
I had an identical grade on him than I did on Kool-Aid.
I
Pretty
can see
much
it.
the same. I just thought, like I was talking about earlier, I thought his zone coverage did not have as much polish as I would have liked. And I recognize that he's really young, he's really athletic, and he has plenty of time to learn. I recognize that. I built that in to
Yeah,
my
just
analysis.
turned 21. His birthday was a few days ago.
But right now, he's like kind of weak as a zone corner. I would said like I have him graded as like a I do like letter grading on my guys, and I have him as a C plus in zone.
Mm, I think that's a little low. I think he's a
That's
lot
what I
better in
had him
zone.
as. And I also had him as a C plus in press because
Yeah.
he has some good press snaps, but a lot of times he's lunging, his hand striking's off. So
Hmm.
there is like a lot of development that like I feel like just like maybe not people aren't talking about it, but I think there is like a certain development that you will need. And like I don't think he's this like plug and play guy that is
Right.
going to be great from day one. I think like it might take him a year or two to really get up to speed. Um, because he is good in man, so but it's a zone league now, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I thought, take him top 20 is maybe a little rich, but I just think people think he's like a day one like immediate starter, and I'm kind of down on that like a little bit.
I mean, Taron Arnold is my CB1. I loved his tape. I mean, he is one of no. Uh, or we'll be back in a second. We'll be back in a second. 26 minutes. Yeah.
Did you pause the stream or is it still going?
It's still going.
I see. All
We're
right.
back. We got the same settings as
All
normal.
right.
So we're back. I mean, at
Perfect.
least that was it cut off before I really like got into my take, but
Yeah. Your audio is a little bit different, I think.
really?
I'm not saying it's
Uh
worse. It's just different.
I think I turned down my gain because I
Yeah,
just
it's
turned it
fine.
on and
Like your
off.
audio's still fine, so
So
don't
if
worry
I
about
went
it.
like this, would it change? This.
No. Maybe it's my audio. Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's still good. My whatever. I'll just cut this part out of my video so I don't really bother me.
Yeah.
Should be hard to cut out. But okay, yeah. So let's get back to your take here on Arnold.
So Terrion Arnold is my cornerback one in this draft class. I mean, he was a guy that I thought absolutely just popped on tape. Whether that he was making a big interception, whether he was coming down all the way to the line of scrimmage to make a big run play. I remember in Georgia, he made a clutch third down stop at the goal line. He blowing up screens. This dude was doing everything. But I cannot deny that he's raw. He was a 5-star safety coming out of high school, and he transitioned to cornerback. So I think the technique is still raw. I think he's still learning the position. I think it's very obvious, but
Yeah.
I think that there's a ton of potential there. Whether if he continues to learn, whether he comes down and plays the slot, whether he moves back to safety, he could do a whole bunch of things. And he's also he's just a pure playmaker. He
Oh,
does
if this dude moves to safety,
he
like
could be a huge. I mean, he would fit more in the box,
he,
really.
yeah, I think he could maybe like he's got really good safety potential for
Yeah,
sure.
but
But I think you
this,
definitely have to try him at corner first.
yeah, you got it. Yeah, I was about to say in my report that I will do on Terry Arnold that's coming out on Friday.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that if it doesn't work out at cornerback, he can just go back to safety.
Yeah, yeah,
He
for
he
sure.
has the athletic profile of a safety, the size of a safety,
Mhm.
the instincts of a safety, the play style. But he moved to cornerback and he did just as well. But yeah, I think Terrion Arnold is he's really my guy at cornerback. He's the guy that
Mhm.
out of Mitchell, McKinstry, Wiggins, DeJean, Renato Green, and Kamari Lassiter, out of all those guys, Arnold popped the most for me.
Yeah. That's fair. I'll read what I said about his weaknesses. I read like a little write up on all the prospects that I watch. So I said like Arnold does lack a little bit of overall polish that you hope he can keep developing at the next level. He often reacts a little bit late when playing off coverage, allowing too much space to the sideline or underneath. He can also sometimes struggle when receivers get into their bag and pull out fancy footwork. Additionally, his press technique was just a little underwhelming. He lunges too much when pressing, and when quicker opposing receivers go against that, they were able to break out of his press relatively easily. And one more thing to add, although he does have extremely good athletic ability, the 4.5 at the combine does mean that like although he has that all that quick twitch, the long speed is not
Yeah.
fully there.
I don't think it was an inhibitor. I just think it was more of he can get
Yeah.
beat. I think he can get
Yes,
beat,
I
but
agree. I agree. And I
um
was like, yeah, that's kind of why like if this dude ran like a 4.4, I'd kind of be all over that.
yeah, but he's a safety.
But
He's an athletic profile of a
yeah.
safety too. What's your
Mhm.
grade on him? What is your 6 point something?
6.67
I mean,
ish.
our grading style is a little differently because I have him as a
Yeah.
6.6 flat, which is
I
he's
put
my
it like
10th
a
guy.
I put it like a little higher. Like I think my scale, I just like interpret it a little higher.
Would that be early
But
day two?
no, late. Like he's still a day one guy.
Like
I
borderline.
just think like no, like I don't know. Like I'd take him in the like after 20, the grass is
Mm.
green for him. But I just
So
think the way people talk about him, maybe not exactly that. I think he's overrated in terms of like he's a first round guy. I think he's a first round guy. But in terms of like how people talk about him, that I think he's just a little more raw and he needs a little bit more development than a lot of people say.
yeah, I mean, I think this cornerback class has been polarizing. I mean, there are a lot of guys that
Mhm.
my dog's barking, but yeah, it's kind of it's a weird cornerback class, but it's a good one. Arnold's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
weird cornerback. Quinion is a weird cornerback. DeJean is also a bit weird. McKinstry is kind of the only one that's solid in all areas, but he's not very hyped up.
Oh,
Miggins is another weird one.
I thought Rakestraw was
Rackenstraw.
like yeah, I thought he was like Kool-Aid, but just like dial it down a little.
Yeah, like a not a flea market, but like it's like at Stop and Shop when you want to get like frosted flakes, but you don't have the money
Mhm.
for it, so you get the frozen flakes or whatever they sell. You get the Kellogg, you get the
Cornflakes.
yeah, you get like that version. It's still good. It's still the same thing basically. It's just a little bit on a budget.
It doesn't have the tiger
It
on it,
doesn't have as much of the cocaine on it, but
Yeah.
But yeah, what's the
Yeah,
next one?
underrated.
Underrated. Ooh, I gotta think about this one because
I
I
had
have an
two
answer.
guys. Oh, then I can start.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you can
I
start. You
had
can
two
start.
guys. So I had Kool-Aid and Rakestraw. I just talked about him.
Kool-Aid and Rackenstraw.
I think people are underrating. Yeah, I did. I think people are underrating how polished Kool-Aid is. And I think that this guy, like day one, maybe he'll have to adjust a little bit, but I think you can feel like pretty damn comfortable that this guy's gonna be a good number two corner for a while. And if like Kool-Aid's your second corner, you're like
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
You're really happy about it. And like if he's your like he's a guy you take, and if he's your second corner, you're ecstatic. You're like, if this is my freaking second corner, my secondary is stacked. And I think he could come in and do that almost right away. I think he can be like a type of guy who can like be a leader of the defense. His communication was really good
Mm.
in terms of like just pre and post snap. I saw him like he's pointing out stuff and he's quick to make decisions when he has to do that kind of stuff. And I thought he was like, what I was saying earlier about how he doesn't waste steps. And the knock on Kool-Aid is that okay, he's not the most athletic guy, and corner is an athlete's position. But the way that he doesn't waste his feet kind of makes up for a little bit of his non-athleticism because he has to do less movement than other people, which makes it so he has the same speed or like the same level of like ability to close, like ability to squeeze to close out on routes just because he's taking more efficient steps than other guys.
Yeah. I think I have really a tie between Dwight McLaughlin and Jarvis Brownlee Jr. I think that Jarvis
Oh
Brownlee
yeah.
Jr. I mean, I first even noticed him at the Senior Bowl, and I watched a little bit of Louisville, and I was like, this guy runs routes for receivers. His jump on the ball, or not his
Mhm.
jump on the ball, but his jump when he recognizes routes is innate. He really jumps routes quickly.
Like from zone specifically, or
Zone or man, it's just his just
okay.
reaction time is insanely fast, and I think it's we saw that at the Senior Bowl, and we see it a little bit within the tape. But then my other guy is going to be Dwight McLaughlin. This he was very interesting because he was I when I did because we both work for PFF. When I did my games for
Hmm.
one of my first games was Arkansas, and I got to watch Dwight McLaughlin against
Nice.
Kent State, Kentucky State, or Kent State, which was the worst college football team in the nation. But he
Let's
didn't
go
allow a
Tez
catch.
Walker.
Tez Walker's shout out. But yeah, Dwight McLaughlin had a 90.4 zone coverage grade, 80.3 coverage grade, but more importantly, he allowed 42% catch rate and only 88 yards in 100 zone snaps credited. He didn't play the whole season, but
Got
McLaughlin
injured.
is. He played. Let me look at his stats right now. I think he only played around 300 total,
Okay, okay.
382,
I'll
and
have to check his tape. I
203.
have not looked at that guy's tape yet, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, he was great in coverage. He's got good size as
Mhm.
well. He's tall. He's really lanky, but only played around 9 games. But I watched the Kent State, and he allowed 0 targets on 0 receptions. And then against West Carolina, he allowed -4 yards. My talk's going crazy. But yeah, he's very solid. I think he's underrated. I have him as a day two guy.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check out his tape. But seems seems to me that like yeah, he seems pretty good. I'll have to see. But did he start for like 2, 3 years or how long
I think he
was
was
he starting for?
he's a technically 3 year starter because he played in
Mhm.
2021 at LSU. Then he transferred to Arkansas. Uh, but in our last year in 2022, he played 900 snaps. But it was a
Okay,
bit
okay.
worse
He's
of a
got a
year.
steps.
But
Yeah.
again, like worse of a year, he had 45 passer rating allowed, and he had 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown
Mm,
allowed. The only thing
yeah.
is the he can be a gambler. Like he can give up a huge play. I think he got dunked on once, unfortunately, but in 2023 he had 2 touchdowns allowed, but 3 interceptions. Um, has good ball production. Pretty solid guy.
Nice, yeah. So I didn't finish. So when I was talking about my underrated guys, I was also talking about Rakestraw Jr. And he was like a guy, like early January-ish, February. This guy was like going in first round mocks. He was like near 30s and like draft value, and his pre-draft process, he goes down a little bit. I I didn't like that he went down, and I thought you got to keep him where he was. I think like you take him late day one, good pick. Like anything after 25, you need a corner and there's no one there. I am good with that. I think he's like I was saying, he's like Kool-Aid toned down a little bit. I think like his footwork efficiency not as polished for sure. Uh, but even the athletic profile is pretty similar. Like he ran a 4.51, which is like not that slow. Like Arnold ran a 4.50. So like yeah, he's not gonna be, have to match up against Xavier Worthy, but he can still play at like not a horrible level. It's just like if he's doing a lot of bump and run, maybe he'll struggle a little bit, but you don't have to put him in those situations. I thought he had pretty good zone feel, just in terms of like keeping his eyes on the quarterback. That was something that I thought he was pretty good at, and his man coverage really, really, really impressed me. That's what kind of brought me up on him. It's like, wow, this guy's sticky. Like he just mirrors pretty well, and whenever a receiver is making cuts, he just seems like he reacts very quickly. Like I don't know, I don't know if it's like an anticipatory thing. I don't think it is. Like not like a, you know, a Devon Witherspoon would like anticipate routes. Like
Yeah.
not that kind of thing. But I think he can I don't know, his reaction time is just good when he has to react. And I also thought he communicated very well. I saw multiple like a few times at least that he's communicating pre-snap and making like quick decisions, and he's like adequate run defender. Like if all your guys are as good as him at run defending in the secondary, then you're like you have a
Yeah.
good secondary run defense, and
I think
it's
people are
just
turned
like
off from the combine. I think that's
yeah,
what yeah,
I
people
didn't think it was that bad.
because he
Like
ran like
it's
a
not
five.
ideal.
He ran a what, a 4.55, 4.53?
4.51.
Oh, four five
I have it
one.
written down. Like that's not that
That's
slow.
not that's Terry on Arnold. They ran the same time.
Pretty much. Like I think Arnold's definitely a much better athlete, and like he has way more like short area bursts and
Yeah,
stuff.
big functional athlete.
But yeah, like I had him with my grades. Like I have Rakestraw. I had him graded as a B plus in man, and a B in zone. And in terms of like I have like this like thing this column called closing ability. So basically like whenever a receiver creates like separation in a route, how effectively do you close the space? That's pretty much what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I have that as a B plus as well. And I just like I was so impressed with how he closed the space and routes that like that's tied for my highest grade right now as a B plus in closing. Him and okay, I lied. Terrion Arnold is about the same, but him and McKinstry and Arnold are pretty much tied in that
Yeah.
aspect for me as of right
What
now.
about Quinyon Mitchell in that conversation? What's his closing grade? Because he just
So I'm
jarred a
expecting
bunch of
it to be
passivity.
higher. I haven't finished my tape on him, and that's why I don't have the full grade. But I'm expecting he'll
Yeah.
probably be a little bit higher.
He forces a ton of
Um,
incompletions.
yeah, I'm expecting it to be a little higher, but yeah, he's as of right now. Once I finish that tape, I'll definitely update you on that. Now I guess I just wanted to like leave the floor open. Like, what are some like a few interesting things maybe of some guys you saw on tape? Like, you know, what are some interesting things that you might want to talk about these corners?
Yeah.
Anything catch your eye with some of these guys?
I've got not necessarily an overall evaluation, but more importantly, the game that I saw for one of these prospects, it was Cam Hart versus Marvin Harrison Jr. I truly felt like the only
Okay.
cornerback that this year that I watched, it was two guys. Only two men were able to affect Marvin Harrison Jr. enough. It was Will Johnson. I'll turn my mic on. It was Will Johnson, who is the best, arguably one of the best players in next year's draft. He's a crazy good cornerback. And then Cam Hart. Cam Hart, 3 receptions, 33 yards. And Cam Hart was actually, he was doing well. He was being physical, staying physical with Marvin Anderson Jr., especially down the field. And Cal McCord, Cal McCord is, what's a bad president? Who's bad at leading a team? Because McCord is just he was one of the worst quarterbacks on the best team in the nation. I cannot
Hmm.
believe
I
that.
got you. NFL Urban Meyer.
Yeah, man. God. I mean, the things that if it doesn't, McCord did not feel like a real quarterback last year.
Mm.
It was really a joke. He made some bad moves, man. But speaking about Cam Hart, it was mainly man coverage, 1-on-1 a lot of the time, and he was holding up very well, especially stabbing him at the line of scrimmage. And Marvin Harrison has really good releases off of the line of scrimmage, and he was negating that aspect. And then when on go routes, staying physical, keeping Marvin Harrison's hands away, so like hitting his forearm a bunch. I mean, that's the only game that I've seen from Cam Hart so far, and it was very impressive because he was able to negate Marvin
I need to
Harrison.
watch that game. I'm gonna pull up the tape like
Yeah,
this week.
so that
I'll
was a
watch
good
that.
game. It was more or less
Mm.
like McCord throwing it in his general
Mhm.
vicinity, and it was just like a completely airmailed ball. But then the Michigan game with Will Johnson and Marvin Harrison, that was a crazy, crazy one-on-one matchup because one would win, and then like Marvin would win on one play, and then immediately the next play it would be Will Johnson negating Marvin, or Kyle
That's
McCord
pretty.
like throwing an interception to Will
That's
Johnson.
gotta be a fun. That'll be a fun game to watch next year when you're doing evals for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I really like Will Johnson. I mean, I saw him
Mm.
against Roma Dunze. He affected him a ton. Marvin Harrison, he affected him a ton.
Yeah, that's cool. So one thing I thought was maybe something interesting to bring up. We talked about this, but TJ Tampa,
TJ Tampa,
cornerback
yeah.
out of Iowa State, and roughly based on like the consensus board on the website, it was like mock draft database, something like that. He's like 55th, 53rd, 50 something
30
around there.
top 40 on PFF's board.
And on PFF, they have him as like a fringe first round player.
Yeah.
And I listened to the podcast, the guys that make it, it's called the PFF Stock Exchange, and they're talking about Tampa and how he's so fluid. And I just listened to it today because I wanted to like understand where they're coming from and saying like that he's actually really fluid and he has like really good zone feel. And I do not see it. I did not see. I watched his tape, all the games I watched, and I was just I was more down on him. I was like, this guy's a third round player. And I want to see it because I know those guys do their work and I know that they they would work hard and have good takes sometimes, but I can't. I just thought he has no he's not polished enough to be like a fringe first round guy.
Yeah, I have major issues with his tackling, 16.9 missed tackle rate, and
Yeah.
the game that I saw him
Yeah.
do, which was Texas, it
Oh
was
yeah. I also watched
not the
Texas.
best.
I
Again,
watched
68 yards, five
2022 versus
catches.
Texas.
I watched this year's, not no
Okay.
game, live game, not film.
Oh, I see. I
But
see. I see.
yeah, three missed tackles in that game. I remember one of them,
Hmm.
complete whiff. And then 68 yards in coverage. That was the most of this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, his last three games were extremely rough. He had all grades
Hmm.
within the 50s. Again, all grades in the tackling for 30s, all coverage
Yeah.
grades 60 and under, and he had against Kansas State a 47.7. But more
Yeah.
importantly, uh, what was I looking at? It's more of just for me it was the maybe lack of production, only 6 PBUs,
Uh-huh. That
as
is a
well
little low,
as
yeah.
his yardage was fine. Everything looks kind of fine. It's just more of when he went up against better competition, it was kind
Hmm.
of a
Yeah,
little rough on him.
I pretty much agree with that. I thought he does have some good highlight tackles, I will say, like just based on the tape, like he has some where he's just like he's a bigger dude.
Yeah,
6'1", 189. Like that's pretty big for a corner, at least decently big. And he has some good highlight tackles where he uses his size and like makes a good hit. But I also noted that he's a very inconsistent tackler. He dives at ankles too much.
yeah, ankle biter.
I thought I thought like he's just diving too low and he's not, I don't know, just it didn't work good. And I thought like when he was doing bump and runs, like he's decent as a press guy. I didn't think he was like really good, but I thought he was like good enough to where like if you see some development, he can play at the NFL with press. But his bump and run was like his having to smoothly transition off the press and then accelerate out was just not there. Like it was fine. But all these really fast receivers, like a few times I saw really fast receivers and he's bumping and running, and he's just getting burned pretty quickly. And he even like I didn't think he closed that well from off zone either. Kind of a little bit the same as like I was saying with Arnold, where like he gets beat by deep curls and comebacks a little too like more than I would have liked, or just like maybe not like the amount of times, but just like how badly he got beat in some of the times where there's just way too much space like underneath, even if you are in the deep zone. And he's not as smooth of an athlete. Like I really, really wish he would have tested, but he has like a foot
I was
injury.
just about to say, did he test?
He had a foot injury. I think he had his pro day like a few days ago, but all I saw was like rumored stuff from his pro day, so I didn't like write that down as like a fact.
Does he have his
But I
RAS score out?
heard he ran 4.47. I tried to find his RAS and it said it was incomplete, I think. But you can try to find it. And he lacks long speed. He's not the most fluid guy. He's decent and man, he can stick with guys, but he's not a plus like a super plus man guy, and he's just all right in zone. So he's like kind of I think he can develop into a number two, but I don't really see it going more than that. I think the PFF guys just think he's a better athlete than I do. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And they were also talking about how he's so because of his length, he can create a lot of like disruption at the catch and stuff. And I didn't see that either.
Hmm. Sometimes it
That
isn't
was a
always the
long
wrong games though.
tangent.
But yeah, no,
Maybe, yeah.
that's called a
Uh,
monologue. But yeah,
That was
excellent
long.
analysis,
Damn.
Tony. Other than that, what else? I want to hear what else. I've watched
Mhm.
Terrion, Mitchell, DeJean, McKinstry, Wiggins. One
Yeah, I'll
game of
give you a
heart.
couple other guys I watched.
Green,
I
Lassiter.
watched the two Auburn guys,
Hmm.
DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett, and I
I do want to
watched
know about them.
Chris Abrams Drain also from Mizzou.
Little smaller guy, but he's physical.
Yeah, so for Abrams Drain, little smaller, yeah, 5'11", 179. He's not too small, but
Ah,
he's definitely on the smaller
I mean
side
under
for
180 for
sure.
cornerbacks is, and for me that's a smaller
That
note.
is pretty tiny. Like, yeah, I know he is small, but he's not like Nate Wiggins, at least.
Did you hear him in the background?
I did not.
Bro's dying. He's got the flu, my
Yeah.
brother. So I'm
Oh,
gonna let
shoot.
you. But yeah,
Yeah.
I want to hear about the Auburn guys because I'm interested about
Yeah,
them.
so I mentioned DJ James a little bit. He's 175, so he's small.
How tall is
He's
he?
5'11.6. So
Okay.
like like at least he's not tiny in height. Like if this dude was 5'9", he'd be toast. But he's at least he's small and but at least he's really athletic. Like I have him graded as like all my grades like speed, acceleration, agility, and I have one that's like fluidity, which basically is like how well how well you're like it's like kind of combining short area quickness and hip fluidity type of thing, like deceleration, acceleration, and lateral agility type of thing. And I
Yeah.
had that as an A minus as well. So like he's a really good athlete. He moves around the field, you can tell. His zone coverage, pretty good. I gave that a B. Like his zone coverage can play. Uh, if you really want to know, I wrote for some reason my biggest paragraph out of all the corners was about DJ frickin' James, but I wrote like he
300
starts with really
word.
good movement skills. He has great acceleration, agility, quickness. Pairs this with plus speed to cover most go and post routes pretty effectively.
Was he a
He's
four
also
three guy?
yeah, no, 4-4-2.
Okay.
4-4-2. Um, he's a strong corner. He communicates with his teammates noticeably well in zone and has good zone IQ. He works well with his eyes on the quarterback and is good at closing space underneath and off zone coverage. Additionally, James knows when it is time to switch to covering his man and not just cover grass and zone. Although he's small, he fights hard when the ball is in the air and is low key not that bad at breaking up
What
passes.
about his run defense?
Uh,
So I'm taking that as a negative.
he was pretty bad at getting off of
Off of block
blocks,
shedding.
and his tackling is just like suspect. Like I had his tackling as a C and his overall run D as a C minus. So like he's not gonna be a impact run defender whatsoever. Um, he's weak. Where he's weak is his man coverage. He has good movement skills, which is good because if he didn't have good movement skills, he'd be really bad in man. But it doesn't always save him just because um, they're good. When receivers sell the deep route against him, he bites a little bit too hard. Curls and outs when he's in man just beat him a little too easily. And he's also just like a little bit late making steps when he faces like good route running technique. Like what games did I watch for him? I watched like a game against Georgia and like Lad McConkey gave him a lot of problems.
Lem
Um,
McConkey is a dog.
he is, and um, and I also wrote that he's ineffective, very ineffective in press, due to his size, and he like some plays he just gets deleted in the run game. Like some of the plays, like if he's against a big receiver, he has no chance.
What's your day
Um,
grade on him? Because I have him as
I
late
would
round
take
4 right
him
now.
late round 3, round 4.
I have him as a late round 4 guy as well.
Yeah,
Eh,
so my final like summary is overall, James is an effective zone corner with good movement skills. His small size may limit him in the NFL, and he will have to work on his man coverage and give it full throttle in terms of run defense and tackling. But if he can just become competent in man, he has a real shot at becoming a solid piece in most zone heavy schemes.
And then what about Nehemiah Pritchett?
Oh, I did not like him.
I have him
I
as a late six.
really did not.
I have him as a day like late day 3, like 6th round, 7th round.
Yeah, I said late fifth, or at least like sixth round, fifth, 5 to 6, really. But just he ran a 4.36.
Yeah,
So I
like
have to
fast.
say that he has good speed, but I did not see it on tape. I did not see it. I have to say he has good speed. I do. Because of that 40 time. And like you can kind of see that he's fast. But when he like read 4.36 and I was my like jaw dropped to the floor. I was like, huh?
Some people train for the combine specifically.
He must have because that 4.36 probably gets him like up around
AKA
and like respect.
AKA Xavier
Respect.
Worthy.
Respect for him, honestly. So I just thought he's fast. Yes. Is he fluid? Is he smooth? Is he good at accelerating? Quick twitch? No, no, no. I have C agility, C fluidity, and like his quick twitch acceleration is not good, but like overall, obviously he ran a 4.36, so he can like his medium acceleration is good. If I'm like quick acceleration in the first little bit, not good. Like honestly, not good. But his medium to late acceleration to get to his top speed is good. So obviously that's why he ran a 4.36. But I wrote that he was slow to accelerate. He's slow to change direction from nuanced route running and man. Awful tackler.
Yeah,
Um,
17% missed tackle rate, career
really,
15 missed
really
tackle
bad.
rate.
Um, I was like, wow. I would watch DJ James. I'm like, okay, there's no way. I saw his missed tackle rate. I'm like, there's no way he's worse than DJ James. He's much bigger, 6 foot 190. He has good size. He's worse. Run defense. He's a worse tackler than DJ James. I was like, oh, like if this guy could tackle well, at least I would have him a little higher. But he doesn't take on blocks in run game. Lack of man snaps in his career as well. He really didn't play that many man snaps, to my knowledge. He can get grabby in man coverage whenever he gets beat. And because he's not as fluid, he does get beat a little bit too much, and he's not very physical. So, he's got a lot of stuff to work on. He has good size and length. His zone IQ was good. Like obviously, like I'm railing on this guy, but there's a reason I still have him as a draftable prospect.
New best
Like he's
time,
good in
Kalen.
zone. He can close zone space and off zone well, just like I said with DJ James. And he uses leverage well in zone coverage as well. Like just I feel like he understands leverage pretty well in terms of like where do I stand to kind of block two guys type of thing. Uh, and he communicates well in zone. I noticed both the Auburn corners. Like I noticed they're both. I don't know, maybe it's the coaching there, but they were taught to communicate well. They're communicating very well in zone, like pre-snap, mostly pre-snap, even some post-snap. And his top speed, obviously, like his 4.36, that's ideal.
Yeah, I have one more cornerback to talk to, and then I want to get the update on the receiver stuff. If you have any new guys that you need to tape on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the one thing that I really need to mention about the cornerback class is the Penn State guys, because they were not impressive at all. I
Oh
know that
yeah.
they had good production because their stats looked pretty fine, but they were cooked. Like when they faced a
All
real
three?
team, all three when they faced a real team, they were just kind of not really there. I mean, the defensive line carried them, and the linebacker core kind of carried them because they got pressure quickly and they were able to hold up long enough. But against Ohio State, they couldn't do anything against Marvin. He was dogging King and he was dogging Johnny Dixon a lot. Johnny Dixon's the most productive one that best ball skills
Hmm.
with him. But Kalen King has just got completely cooked at the Senior Bowl, and then he goes ahead and runs a 4. I mean, it looked like he ran a 4.8, but he ran a 4.61, and his split was good, which means that he decelerates really fast. Because he had a 1.54 split, which is like really similar with a ton of guys. Like Terry and Arnold had the same time, but the 4.61 kind of proves to me that he decelerates, and doesn't have and lacks a ton of long speed. But outside of that, the Penn State guys really didn't impress me. But I want to know any new wide receivers that you've looked at, because I
So
got a
yeah,
few guys.
so I have a few takes from the combine, but I honestly I've been slacking on my tape, so I have not watched any new guys. Um, Hoping in the next few weeks, like to actually get my receivers done,
How many are
so that
you
we
at
can
now?
like have a full discussion, like 15.
Oh, the same as last time.
Yeah, like I actually haven't done any.
So,
Uh, yeah, told you
but
been
yeah,
slacking. I've obviously updated some stuff. I have some takes. My first take is Keon Coleman. Don't take him in the first round. Do not take him in
yeah.
the first
I
round.
don't think he's a first round guy, but I think he's getting overhated. I think people are like everybody's like I'm
I
completely out on
still
him, but
think
I
he's
don't think so.
overhyped. That's interesting.
I have him
From
as a I have him as a midday 2 guy, mid second round,
midday two
like
is good.
45, like pick 45 is where I take him.
Midday two is good. I see Chiefs a lot. I'm like, okay, if he goes to the Chiefs,
That's not a good fit though. I don't even think
if
it's a good
he
fit.
like yes, but like I think like it's not like I like the fit.
It's not a
No.
particularly bad fit. I just don't think that they need a guy who can't separate. Like they have
Like
enough
yeah.
issues.
Yeah. No, I agree like no, a fit for the Chiefs, no. A fit for him, yes.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Because of
Like
this.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
because
I
he's
agree.
with Mahomes, he's with Andy Reid.
It's a good
Like
place for any receiver to go.
exactly,
They
exactly.
always take
So
bad
like I
receivers.
see him to the Chiefs a lot. Like people are like debating him and AD Mitchell to the Chiefs.
If AD Mitchell
No,
goes there, he could be a wide receiver 1 in this league.
dude,
AD Mitchell, I
like
have him in.
I was listening to a podcast today of some it's like the Ringer NFL draft show, and they're collabing with the PFF guys, and they're debating Keon Coleman or AD Mitchell to the Chiefs at 32, and I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
AD Mitchell, I in my the last
I
two
have him
mocks,
as a top 20 guy.
I picked him.
I
Yeah,
have.
he's a top 20 guy. I picked him 11th. I don't
Thank you.
understand how
Thank
people
you.
are not
Thank
taking.
you. Thank you.
Donnie
Thank you.
Mitchell is
Yes.
like he's gonna go
Yes.
way higher than a lot of
Top
people
20.
think.
He's top 20. Like
I saw
he
his film. He's
no.
so good, bro.
The only thing is like the production profile is not good.
Yeah, but
Like
his route running is
but his
crispy.
dude, his everything is crispy. And in all these games, I watched like 4 Texas games or like 3, like just watching these corners. And Quinn Ewers cannot
Yeah,
hit the
Quinn Ewers.
broadside of a barn. Like
His accuracy is
I
it's
was
bad.
watching,
It's bad.
I'm like staring down my corner, and the ball is in fucking Timbuktu. And and
Oh,
I'm like, what? Who this? And I was watching 2022 tape also, and I'm like, there's no way Quinn Ewers was starting, right? And
his
he
accuracy
was.
was bad last year.
And
Last year was bad.
and even this year, like, it's still not as good. Like, even watching
Yeah.
his and Worthy's tape, and I was like, oh my God, like, like, and plus, it's a very gimmicky offense that runs a lot. So, like, that's kind of why I'm like, okay, it makes sense that these guys are not like producing. And I think, like, I heard this take from, oh goodness, I forget where I heard this take from, but I heard it somewhere, like, on a podcast or something, and it was like the biggest loser of the NFL Combine was Quinn Ewers.
Dude, yeah.
Because Worthy and Ad and I were crazy. And I completely agree. Adonai Mitchell is a top 20 player, top 20 pick every day of the week.
I have
I also
Mitchell.
think
I have Mitchell 18th, and he's my wide
yes,
receiver 4.
perfect. That's perfect. I think I would take him over Thomas.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
I
taking him
think
over
I would.
Thomas. I mean, like, would you rather take a
Yes.
guy who's more dynamic, or would you rather take a guy who runs straight or straight down, but does it at
Yes.
such an elite level?
Yes.
But also,
Or
like,
or like ooh,
yeah,
like a
or a
cross.
comeback or like some. But
Across.
dude,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, okay. I'm glad we're on the same page with that. I'm
Mitchell's
surprised, but
Mitchell's a
I don't,
beast.
and I know Brett Coleman has him as wide receiver 4, I
Yeah,
think,
because
as
he
well.
compares him to like CeeDee Lamb. I can see it, but
That's
it's a stretch. It's a very big stretch,
I
but
see it. I've seen a lot of T. Higgins, and I'm
I do.
like,
I don't
yeah.
even see that. I don't. I mean,
I mean, he.
Mitchell's a
I
much
think he.
better route runner. He has a
Yeah,
much
yeah.
more
He's way
developed tree,
smoother. I agree. He's way smoother. Um.
and also a much better
What?
athlete.
Yeah, and I think Ricky Pearsall is low key like a first round guy if you take him
I have him day.
in first round.
I have him midday too.
I think he's like. I think there's no debate between him and Coleman. Like, who's better?
I
I really
have
liked his tape. I really liked his tape, and then he tests like a freak.
yeah, it
That's
tested
what
really
I'm.
well.
That's what I'm confused about. I'm like, okay, so Coleman didn't test that well.
Didn't
He
have a
ran a
great
four
season.
six. Didn't have a great season. Ricky Pearsall, his tape is really good, separates well, and then he ran a 4.41.
And he's what 6'3" too.
No, 6.1.
Oh, he came down on the.
Sadly.
It came down.
Sadly, 6.119. No,
Same
I don't
thing
think
with
he was ever 6'3.
his
I
listed
might.
is.
I think I even have his wrong measurements here. Actually, let me see.
I mean, yeah,
I think I have the wrong measurements for him. Actually,
he
let me.
was. Oh no, you 6'1". I got my number wrong then. That's my number.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever
Yeah,
6'3.
I have Coleman. I have Coleman, Worthy,
Leggett
Walker.
was
Leggett?
6'1", 189. Yeah.
Yeah, Leggett came from 6'3" to like 6'1".
Mm.
But I've got Coleman, Worthy,
Mhm.
Walker, Parasol. I've got them all like sandwiched
Oh,
because
okay.
it's
Okay.
6'3", 6'3", 6'3", and 6'3".
Oh, okay. I
And
have Pearsall 6'4" right now.
so like relatively the same kind of area. Like, or do you have him day one? So you're higher.
Like late day one. It's just like there's so many good receivers that like I'll understand if he doesn't go, but Coleman is not better than him. Leggett is not better than him. Roman Wilson is not better than him.
Roman Wilson is. I have him as a
Walker's not better
day
than him.
4 or shit. Day
I look
3. I
think
have Wilson day
really?
3.
No.
I have Wilson in the 4th round. He can't. I don't know, man. He can't really play. He's not the.
That's interesting.
I mean, the more and the more I see of him, it's. Like
Bro, we got to do a tape watching session, man.
I don't.
I have him
I'm
as
not
like a
I'm not like
midday
the
two.
best tape watcher because I like to skip around. I like to look at a
Midday
play
two.
quickly and then go to the next play. Because it's
Oh.
like I'm not watching both angles usually unless I'm watching a certain
Oh,
play.
I never I usually don't watch both angles.
Yeah.
But like if I think it was like a play where I'm like, okay, he actually did something, I'll go back and watch it
Yeah,
like 3
because I
times.
skip all the plays where they don't do
But
anything.
oh yeah. I think everyone does. No, I thought he was midday too, probably. Like
Wilson,
honestly,
I
like
can't, man. He drops. He has a ridiculous rate of drops. He plays
no, he doesn't. No. He had 2
Parasol or
drops.
Wilson.
Wilson had 2 drops.
Am I wrong about my drop rate? I thought it was 10%.
I don't think so. Let me look.
It was an 8%. Oh, wrong guy.
Over
Nope.
the last 2 years, I actually wrote it down somewhere, I swear. Nope. I don't think
why
he
is
dropped
PFF
passes.
bugging, bro?
We'll find it. We'll find it. Okay, I have it open. Nope,
Yeah,
wrong
10.9% drop rate. He
No way.
had 5 drops this year. And he had a 10.9% drop rate and a 40.9 contested catch rate as a 6'6", 230-pound guy, and only came down with 9 contested catches.
Oh no, that's Johnny Wilson.
Oh, who are we talking about?
Roman Wilson.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Johnny Wilson. Oh, we're talking about completely different players. Okay, well, I
Yeah.
have Roman Wilson as my wide receiver 15.
Okay,
I
that
love
makes
Roman Wilson's like he's got great ankle
no,
flexion.
no.
and quick.
Yeah, I was like, what are you? I was so confused.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
wrong
Roman
guy,
Wilson
wrong
had
guy.
1 drop last year, dude.
Yeah, Roman Wilson I like a lot more. He's my second day, 3rd round guy. I do
Okay.
have him as a 3rd.
I have him as a midday 2.
There's just so many for me. It's
Not midday 2, mid second.
I had 35 receivers. I had to break
I-
them up somehow.
I actually have him graded over Coleman.
yeah,
right now,
I have
as of
Coleman
right now.
9. I think Coleman. I mean, I thought the tape was.
You just can't
Weird.
run routes. You just can't
Yeah.
run routes.
But he can catch. I mean, I had to go back to MSU, and MSU he was dunking on people. Like
He was good.
he's a
I
basketball
liked. I
player.
preferred his MSU tape. I did.
Yeah, but I was talking
I
about Johnny.
also.
I was talking about Johnny Wilson. I think Johnny. I
Oh,
don't think
I'll
Johnny
tell you what
Wilson.
I wrote for. I
Johnny
have for
Wilson
Johnny
can't
Wilson.
ball. He's a six
I would
six.
take Johnny Wilson in the third round.
Yeah, a little rich for my taste. I mean, he's just the drop rate is
The drops are, yeah. The drops.
some of his were ridiculous, and he plays
If
way too finicky. He should put his body
yeah,
into people, and he's not as. I wish he was so much more physical. It kind
it's true.
of
Let me see what he ran at the combine. I don't have
ran like
this
a four
written
or
down.
five, but he had a huge. He had like a 9.88 RAS score because he was 6'6". But
Yeah,
his athletic numbers are good, but he needs to. If he was physical and had that athletic numbers,
four
but
five two. It's not bad.
yeah, it's no, it's not at all bad. If we use a tight end at that weight, they'd be like, yo, this guy can
I
run.
actually don't think he's a tight end.
He can't be a tight end. He can't. I see people
I
thinking he
don't think
can,
he
but
is.
he can't be a tight end. He plays way. He's not functionally strong.
Yeah,
He doesn't play with enough physicality. He can
no,
jump and he's tall, so he can come down with contested catches, but he is just
I
he's too
agree. I
finicky.
agree. Like
He's too
he
like
doesn't play like a bully, and he should.
yeah, and then the
I
drops. He
agree.
can't like I remember one where he was
Mm,
looking downfield or he wanted to transition downfield, so he
hmm
brought his body along and then the ball just kind of just hit him.
Yeah, he does. Like, yeah, that's the drops. It's true. He does have the drops. I just thought like he was like a good route runner. Like, and he's 6'6", and he's a good route runner.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's hard to find.
I mean, I mean, I don't know who else fits his
And
description in the
and
in
like I
ever.
also thought like with the ball, he was low key like in the run after catch. For
What was
some
his
reason, he was just
numbers?
making dudes miss.
Is what were his yards after catch?
Like I feel like he was, at least from what the tape I saw.
Have you gotten into any tight ends?
No,
You're not a tight end guy.
I wanted to finish receiver and corner.
Where is Johnny Wilson?
Wilson Rock, 306 yards after catch this
That's
year
over half
out
of his
of
yards.
617.
That's over half of his
Yeah.
yards. That's pretty solid.
And last year he had 300 out of 900
It's pretty solid numbers. And I
in like
also watched
2022.
I also watched Troy Franklin. Franklin was he was pretty good. It's just some of the drops kind of got me. I remember one he was going up
Yeah,
against
Troy Franklin's good.
I forgot what team it was because I was watching the Oregon offense for Jackson Powers Johnson, Franklin, Tez
Mm,
Johnson, and there was one where Franklin was there was not a defender 20 yards near him, and he
yeah.
was gonna basket it, and then he just dropped
Tell
it.
you what, I think maybe I might have watched that game. I'm gonna get my notebook and I'll
Let me
find the
go to
game.
the database.
I'll get my
Actually, no, I
notebook and
can't.
find the game.
I can't go to the database on stream. I can't reveal it. Oh, let me find it.
I'll find it. Okay, okay. Was it Texas Tech?
No,
Damn.
I watched.
Oh, how about Utah? How about Utah?
It probably was Utah.
Because I have written minus, 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 bad drop.
Probably. I watched Utah. I watched Oregon State, and I
It
watched
would have been Utah, yeah. I watched,
Arizona.
oh, you also watched Utah and Oregon State. Yes. I watched those and I watched Texas Tech and I watched Stanford and I watched Utah
I forgot
in
you have a different. I
2022.
forgot you have a different database because you're just cool like that.
I have a bit of extra. Yeah.
Extra data. Yeah, I'm only giving the games from. But Caddy, shout out to Caddy. The dude's
Yeah,
he
that
always
guy's a
is adding
monster.
games. But
Yeah.
he's probably making a
Still,
lot of money. There's over a
oh,
thousand
he's
people
gotta
that
be.
support him.
He's gotta be rich.
I mean,
Good for him.
well, what's projected from that? So he has over 1,000, I think 100 supporters, which means
Yeah.
they pay $3 or more. If we're averaging it out to $4 because there is a $5
Yeah.
option, then we can assume out of 12 months he's probably making around 4 to 5. After tax, probably around 2.5 to 3 a month. So he's probably making a good 30 grand just from Patreon alone. And then what if he has a part time job? How is he even accessing film? Is he a coach? Like,
Yeah,
I think he is.
maybe.
But yeah,
Maybe.
he is probably making a
Did
good
you
amount of money
notice
from
that
that.
sometimes on the film though he puts the arrow on the wrong player?
Yeah, I remember I was
Yeah.
watching. It was I think Layout Tilla 2, and oh no, it was it was Jerzon Newton, and he got ejected from one of the games,
Oh yeah, and he still arrowed it.
and it was arrows for another 6 plays until it just cut randomly, and the game was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
ended. And I think it's just because he realized that he wasn't on the
That
field
is, I
anymore.
like. I don't really care, but it happens once in a while. And then I watch the play, and I'm like, that's not his number. Like,
That's
like,
I was that. Yeah, I did it for another play. It was
mhm.
Do you know who's the other Illinois interior defensive lineman? It was
I don't know.
he would do it sometimes for Keith Randolph.
Oh,
Keith Randolph because he's another single
yes.
digit number, and then you had your Zon Newton was who was his number was
Yeah.
4, and sometimes it would. But Jerzon Newton was always on the left side, so I just always looked to the left side
Mm.
of the line
Yeah.
of scrimmage.
Also, I think, dude, I really like. I've been growing more on Liatula, dude, man.
He's yeah,
I
he's my
I think
11th.
he should go. Like, I think he's like. I don't care about the med. Like, I don't know. I just feel like the medicals aren't as big a deal.
They didn't look to
And
affect him physically.
like, I won't. I don't know about the medicals. Obviously, we're not gonna know.
Yeah,
But I think this dude should be a top 10 player.
I have him 12th on my board.
Yeah.
I think I'm more questioning the. I don't think he has top tier at like quickness or explosiveness off the line of scrimmage and
Yeah.
bend. I don't think that is elite. It's not bad at all. It's just more of this dude has a deep bag. Like
Yeah.
this dude hand fighting and technique wise is textbook really for defensive linemen,
Dude,
and
he's good.
his
Like
bag is
and
crazy. His
the
bag
thing
is
is,
crazy.
I think they're underselling his athleticism. That's
I,
the thing
I
that I
think it's
don't like.
it's good. I think it's good. It's not great or elite. I think it's good. I don't think it's a negative at all or
Yeah, like
detracting. I think it's good.
he has like he's a good like he's a good athlete.
He
Like
moves well too.
what more do you want? He's a good athlete and he's the most productive player and the best player already.
And he has the deepest bag of pass rush moves, and he's the best at hand fighting outside of Jared
It's
Verse. But Jared Verse is a
like
power
some people are
player.
like, like what if he doesn't get better? And if he doesn't get better, he's already really good. Like he's
Yeah,
already a number two. Like
yeah.
he's already a number two pass rusher if he doesn't get better.
Like he could be. He's extremely consistent. That's the
Hmm.
why he was so high in pressure numbers. It's every play
Right.
he was either creating something or was
Hmm.
at least trying a move that could have been productive. And
Yeah,
I mean,
no, he's
13 and a
so
half
good.
sacks, over 60 pressures. And then Verse,
Yeah.
I have right under him. I do like Verse. Like Verse is
I,
extremely
yeah,
athletic.
I actually have Turner third as well.
Yeah, I have Turner third. I have him 15th on my board, so I'm not low on Turner, but I am low
Yeah.
on
Oh
Turner.
wow. You have verse that high though.
I have Verse
Hmm.
13. I mean, this dude is power.
You
Like
like these edges. You like these edges.
I like them.
I just don't know if verse is like becomes a number one.
He won't.
That's my only thing.
He won't. He's not consistent
But
enough.
Turner can.
Turner, I actually don't think Turner can ever become a 1. I think that
No.
Turner is just flat out an inconsistent player. I don't think my film of him, I really didn't even like it. I
Mm,
thought it was good, but I mean, I thought it was good. The splash plays really, really saved Turner because if he didn't have any of the crazy like a second sacks, like this dude just turn around the edge, and he's got
mhm.
great combine too, and the speed is really there. Um, and also converting speed to power really good. It's just this dude is flat out inconsistent, lacks a bit of power. His bull
Yeah.
rushes against really big offensive linemen were just kind of not working. He needs to develop a bit more of pass rush moves, but he has good potential, and I think that the sack numbers will always be there. It's just more of
Mhm.
the pressure numbers. I think he is, and also the run game. Double teams, like they put him
Yeah.
flat on his ass.
Damn, I just realized I'm still recording my OBS. That's crazy. So I'm gonna have to cut out more.
Oh no,
I'll just keep the corner stuff.
I'm
Anyway,
still streaming, but
yeah.
we can
Yeah,
just
no,
keep on
no. That's
talking.
good. Yeah. No, I'm good with that. It's just I only wanted to record the corner part. But I've also been growing on Newton even more.
Johnny, I got him
Yeah,
16th on my board. I think he's.
good, good.
I
Okay.
think people are sleeping on the defensive line class because just the receiver class is
I
getting so
think the
much
D
attention.
tackles are like I think this is just a really good draft class in general.
I
Like
have it as a
it's
9 out of 10. It's the best draft class I've ever reviewed.
like compared to last year, man. Like there's like freaking 25 guys that are top 10 picks this year.
Yeah. I think
Last year.
if we put last year in this class, only CJ Stroud and Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. Those are the only guys that even compete with the top 20 in this draft. I'm being
Yeah,
so
well,
so
Bryce
dead
Young
ass.
as a prospect as well, but yeah.
Yeah, I think if I were to redo it again, I would have much more counted and factored in his height and factored in
Yeah.
his weight and his size because I
I
think
was high
that's
on him.
I
I
was
was
he
I
was
was
my
super high on
I
him.
had him as a boomer bust. I had him as a
Yeah.
boomer bust, but it was tough, man. But he also got such a bad situation. But this draft
He
class
did.
was a bit rough. I did like the running backs though. The running backs were good, but
Yes. Yeah, like Gibbs.
Snowball Mike,
Yeah.
I'm an Elgato guy.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But yeah, Jazon Newton, this dude's got a bag, and as for interior
He's
defensive
so
lineman,
good, man. He's so good.
yeah, I'm
I'm like, I really want the Bengals to draft him.
yeah, the Bengals could be that would be a good
Oh,
move. I think
nasty.
if they get Byron Murphy, that would be a
Him or
beautiful marriage.
Latu or Murphy would be so good.
I think
Him
for
or
my
Latu or
top, oh,
Murphy or Mims. But I think Mims is gonna go like top 15.
yeah, he's got a ton of hype. I think Saints. I think Saints go with him.
I
But
Yeah, like I do think Mims is just not gonna fall. But that means somebody's falling, like gonna fall to the
somebody
to that
always
range.
falls. Somebody always falls.
That's the thing. So like the Bengals did a good job in free agency addressing needs, which means like they're not gonna have to force a pick, which is awesome.
I think that they right
So
tackle.
just take whoever falls.
I think that they set themselves up for right tackle because no Jonah Williams
Yeah.
and he didn't sign anybody.
No, they did. They signed Trent Brown.
Really? Oh, I just
Yeah.
thought they brought him into the room.
No, they signed him.
Okay, 1 year deal.
Two,
I had no idea he was signed.
two maybe. One or two. Let's see. Contract details of
Two.
the Bengals unrevealed. Yeah, two. So like, yeah, you probably want to take a tackle, but if there's a guy that you're like really high on, like if Newton's there, like I would take like Newton if like Newton's there, or I would take Wonga. I would take Wonga, Fautanu, and Mims and Fashanu over him.
Yeah, I think for my
But
top 50,
I wouldn't take.
Oh my bad.
But I wouldn't take any of the other tackles.
I think for my top
Sorry, I lost
50,
my train of
I
thought.
got myself in a, I got myself in a bind for the top 50 because I put Latu and Verse 12 and 13, and Turner and Andrezon Newton 15 and 16. Realistically,
Who are you
I
lower
like.
on if you're so high on all these defensive guys?
I really wish I put like Mitchell
I'm gonna
a lot
let me see
higher.
your
I do have him
board.
at
I'm gonna look
18th.
at it.
Do you have it or no?
Well, like I see it on the stream.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I
Daniels
have
8.
yeah, I like Daniels. I'm one of those guys who are I'm
Oh,
kind of in the
Lad
middle.
McConkey at 23. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
in reality, I really like Mitchell, and I wish I put him higher, but I don't have an opening. Essentially,
Yeah.
I kind of
I
have
think
like I have all my prospect breakdowns already like done,
Mhm.
and I also it's just kind of where the only place I would swap him is Verse.
Mm.
That's Verse. It's
You got a view link you can send me to your board?
yeah, I have my one that I wouldn't give. This
will
is the
look at that.
master board, the one that I'm viewing now. I can't give out this one, but I have the Patreon board, which is it's just a link.
Okay.
But I gotta put the top 50 there.
I'll send you mine too for what I have.
Where is
On all the guys that I've evaluated, I have like a nice big blurb on them. So you can, if you haven't looked at them, you can read up if you want.
I'm gonna steal everything. 50. I have Rackensstraw. Oh nope, this ranking's wrong. I have Rackensstraw 29.
The thing is, like, I just haven't done enough film on other positions for me to like be confident in making a big board, but I might just do one for fun.
I think for me, I'm just kind of it's just kind of because I've been updating this board for such a long time, literally since
Yeah.
May of last
Okay.
year, that I just had like 100 players to start off, and also this is my independent study for school,
Hmm.
so
Oh, no way.
I had a real necessity to make this board my thing. I don't know if I would do it
Yeah.
next year. I think I would only add the guys that I actually did film on, because
Mm.
when I'm recording these videos, or not these ones,
Yeah.
but when I'm recording the whole draft, like the whole positions updates, I kind of like
Hmm.
find myself fluffing the seventh round guys because I have no idea
Yeah,
who they
yeah.
are unless I've actually seen them. I have no idea how these guys play. I kind of just will say like a 15-second little thing of why they're in the seventh round, and then kind of
Yeah.
that's it. But
I mean, that's for most people. Like,
it's really
unless
hard,
this is your full-time job, man. Like, frick.
and you need a
Like,
ton of people around you, and you need like
mhm.
I can't imagine how much draft prep guys like. You can say whatever you want about Kuiper, but he delivers his information in a very good way, and that's the reason why he's been on
Yeah.
ESPN for so long.
Yes.
He doesn't do a lick of film. I can guarantee you he's not gone to the maybe he does, but his employees and his assistants do all of his tape.
You think so?
Yeah. Oh no. No. I don't think it's a question. I mean, I
Well,
think
I think he does some of his tape,
he does some, but
but
he does not do the majority. And some of his takes are just kind of wild, and it really
dude,
just
like,
makes
did you
sense.
see he put
I'll send you the link.
Roger
Yeah.
Rosengarten in the first round?
I like Roger Rosengarten. I have him in the third round, but if first round is like compared to how many good tackles we have in this class.
Yeah, but
You put him
like,
over those
even
guys.
if you,
Like,
and I feel like you might be higher on him too.
I think I'm right around the consensus. I have him
Hmm.
my alignment. I have
Okay.
my OT 11 or
Interesting.
10.
My favorite draft guy has him as a seventh rounder or like fifth to seventh.
Damn, where is he? Oh, I need to update this.
Because from what I've seen is like he really lacks a power profile.
Yeah, he's light. He's extremely light. He's like 308 pounds, but he moves well. He's good
Hmm.
athleticism, but he's young, but he lacks power.
So like, yeah. So like, but I feel like that's just like Fashanu, but like way worse.
Yeah,
And like,
Fashanu lacks massive functional power. But I think for Fashanu, it's kind of like you would expect him to be a lot better, and he's not. But I still have Fashanu in the second. But
you
I
have
can
him as a second?
yeah.
Whoa.
Where you
Whoa.
got him? You got him out?
Like top 15.
No, I
I
can't.
take him in the top 10, dude.
I can't do it. I I
I
under,
would take him in the top 10.
I understand where people are coming from with him, but I just can't get behind him totally. I think I'm just a lot lower on him. He struggles to uh, hold edges and set edges, and he has crazy agility and he's good in pass pro. I watched the Ohio State game, and this dude is getting bullied. Six pressures, and they did PFF did say 0 sacks. It's a lie. JT Tuimoloau got like 2 sacks, and one of them was 100% on Olo Fashanu. I watched it
Yeah,
in game and I watched it in film.
some of the PFF like metrics are like I'm like, are you sure? Because like some games I'm watching the film, I literally write two pass breakups on my notes. Like right when I see it, I write PBU. And then I look at the stats, there's one PBU, and I would literally have two written down. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's just because of the
Really?
human stuff. It's really because of the human
Yeah,
error. Because
yeah,
it's run by it's the all this stuff is by humans. I would
yeah.
rather like that than what other companies do, because other companies don't
Oh, with
can't.
like the AI?
I mean, it's they don't even have what PFF can offer because they don't have that human element. But also PFF,
Yeah,
like the slave wages are really kind of rough. Talking a little bit freely about the
yeah.
company, but I mean, it's my job. It's our job, so or part time
Yeah, I
job.
haven't heard too much about like what like more full-time people get paid, but
Like 30, 40. If it's a virtual and it's a seasonal job, so
yeah, yeah,
you get paid a lot more during the season. You get paid a lot less during the off season.
yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure. And it's like the thing is like it's just so like I feel like it's such a competitive thing because everyone wants to work in football.
yeah,
So it's like you can kind of get away with that.
yeah. I mean, I've been applying for internships and I got nothing. Like I applied for like 17 internships, and
Yeah.
I'm a sophomore, so I still got time. But that's
Yeah,
more of why I'm doing this because this is a good like just supplement, and it's also like this is.
for sure.
I'd rather do this than work like a communications job. Like that's
Yeah.
boring as shit. Like this is at least it's more difficult, but I can wake up and motivate myself to do this. Like
Hmm.
I can't wake myself up and motivate myself to do something I don't want to do, and I think
Yeah,
that's
no,
super
that's so
important.
fair, dude. That's so fair. I'm just looking at your board right now.
It's a bit.
Oh, that's why you have Cam Hart so high.
It's not
Because you only
finalized too
watched
much.
against Marv.
I mean, Marvin Harrison dogged every cornerback I've seen. He dogged Mitchell.
Mm.
He dogged DeJean. Like, and Cam Hart was the only guy that I mean,
Oh,
I
did I
do have to
watch
watch
the game
more.
against Ohio State? Let me see.
I gotta watch
I
more.
watched 2022 against Ohio State, and he got absolutely destroyed.
2023, it was 3 receptions and 32 yards allowed.
Yeah. Like I watched the first two games I watched of Najee. I watched so he actually like according to the PF the grades, he is way better in 2022 and he had way more PBUs.
Yeah,
And I watched the first two games and I was like, this guy sucks.
I mean,
I
I
watched
think
two games and I was like I had to like convince myself to like him, which is never good.
Ohio
But the
State.
two
It was one reception, 10 yards, and I know exactly which one it was. It was on a slant route for Marvin Harrison. Only allowed one catch to Marvin, which is really
yeah,
good.
in 2023.
In 20, yep, this year. It was the only game
Yeah,
that I watched.
last year, so last year's game, he got destroyed by Ohio State.
I mean, to be
I
fair,
wrote,
I wish I
I,
watched more 2022 Ohio State because I would have realized that CJ Stroud was literally god tier
oh,
quarterback.
dude,
I
in
wish
that game,
I'm
in
so
that
dumb. I didn't
game,
watch him last year.
it's
I'm so
funny.
dumb.
It's funny. In that game, CJ Stroud was horrible. He was awful. He threw the first two, like I swear the first two plays of the game, this guy throws two picks that get dropped.
That was the first game of the year, though.
And then like he threw like two picks and I think he had four turnover. I counted four turnover worthy plays, and I wasn't even like looking for them. They were just all so egregious that when I was watching Cooper DeJean tape, I noticed, and I was like, wow,
Yeah, Cooper
I can
DeJean was kind of
understand why
getting
some
cooked.
people were so lower on this guy.
Like guys like Theo Ash have him in the third round for Cooper DeJean. I can
No,
see,
no.
I can see not the third round. That's ridiculous. But I can see why people don't think that Cooper DeJean can play in the boundary. His
Yes.
his hips are stiff, like flat out. It's so obvious. And I think
Yeah.
that he can get beat over the top, but I think Cooper
Yes,
DeJean
yes.
can immediately come
One
in the
thing,
slot.
one thing with him too. Oh shoot. No, I had a really good train of thought. Hold on, hold on. That sucks that I lost it. Oh no.
Oh, it's funny as
Okay,
you
it'll
speak.
come back. It'll come back. It'll
Theo
come
Ash is
back.
doing TJ Tampa, so
Oh,
that's funny.
I'll have to check it out.
I'll have to check it out
I'll have
too.
to look at it.
He's gonna be like, oh yeah, TJ
Yeah.
Tampa is gonna be a top 20 guy. The only reason why I like Theo Ash is I think he has good ball knowledge. I think that as just a content creator, he is extremely pretentious, and he is. I just think he's just really pretentious. I think he's got the attitude of like, you're
Like he's
wrong,
better than
I'm
you because
right,
he
I'm
watches more
better than
film.
you. He
Yeah.
knows his stuff, and he's a great interviewer. I think he should become like he has got journalism and reporter chops. I think that's kind of where he thrives. I see his I saw the Super Bowl interviews, and they were much higher level stuff than day to day reporters are doing. It's
Yeah.
just I think he's just very pretentious.
Okay, so I remember what I was gonna say about Cooper DeJean. So he's a really, really good athlete, this guy. Like I really wish he
Yeah,
could have tested.
broke his leg.
Because did you know that in high school
He was a
he
track
was
athlete.
state track champion?
I
Not
didn't
just
know
a
he was a
track athlete.
champion.
Not just a track. He won state in track and
Which
he
which
won
what which
state
event?
in broad jump.
Broad jump.
That's a good question.
What about
Let me let
what
me
about in the because I ran track. What like I think the probably the 100. He might have. Yeah, I think he was a sprinter.
He
couldn't have-
ran, I think he ran like a sub 11
That's a
100
terrible
meter or
state
something.
then.
Let me see.
If that's California, then that's crazy because it
Cooper
must.
DeJean ran a
What time?
10.71
Okay, that's good.
Alex, what time?
10-7
in the 100 meter dash.
That's like average.
Yeah. What state?
For high school, though. No, for high school, it's not average. Can't be.
Nowadays, it kind of is starting to be. Like if you're 11, like 11 is average. Like 11 is like varsity. Like average to high. Like because I ran a 13.
Okay.
Slow as fuck, bro.
13 is ass,
Slow
bro.
as shit. 13 is ass.
13 is real slow, no?
It's like
I was
like you barely made varsity.
Yeah,
Cooper DeJean,
10-7-1.
he went to Obiac. Oh, he went to Iowa. He was in Iowa high school. Like that's kind of why. If he was in California, dude, these kids are running nines.
No way.
Yep.
High schoolers running nines? Let me look. California. California high school 100-meter record.
Well, women's is 11-11. Rock
Sorry?
Pleasant, women's is 11-11. Men's it says 10-20, but then I see
Wow, that's
another one where
ridiculous.
it's 10-14, and then another one where it's where is it?
I see 10-25, but I think I'm looking at college.
9-4. I see one, but that's not a reputable site. Well, I think
Hold on, let
Georgia's
me-
got some good track athletes too. Florida's got really good track athletes.
I swear he did win state.
He probably did. I think he did. Yeah, 998. That was in 2024.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. 998. Okay,
Matthew Bowling.
he won 3 golds, 10-7 100-meter, and 24.2 inches long jump.
That's
I don't know
good.
how good that is. Yeah,
That's a good long jump.
I mean 10-7 100 is still pretty ridiculous, no?
It's good. It's great. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great number. Definitely. I think.
I guess that must have been a slower year for Iowa then or something.
I think it's just because Iowa. That's not like California times would be. I don't think he would have placed in the
Oh,
because.
wow. Okay.
So for do you have did you run track?
No,
You gotta be so you gotta. The
I'm not familiar
finals-
with how it works in the U.S.
The finals is it's a 10-lane or 8-lane track, and it's
Yeah, yeah,
also
okay.
it's different indoor and outdoor because indoor is around like 6 or 5, and I'm assuming this is going to be outdoor times because that looks like an outdoor time. You have to you have to continue to either win or
Win your
place in
heat?
your heat, and so
Okay,
then you
okay.
go to the once you go to the finals, it's the top roughly 10 to 8 guys. If for Connecticut it's 8, the final heat would be 8. For some states it's 10. And then you run basically. So a 10-7 would be. I don't know if that would. I think that would win. Maybe Connecticut. Where I'm from is from Connecticut. I think
Mm-hmm.
that would be top 1 or 2 in Connecticut, honestly, for high school.
Yeah, like he's definitely good. And he won in the long jump too. But anyway, goes to say he's a crazy athlete. Like I really wish he could have ran. I think he's probably like a 4.45-ish, maybe
4.5.
lower.
He looks like a 4.5.
I like even mid 4.4s. Maybe. Is he like cuz
The long speed is a little bit. It's kind of either there or it's not. The long
like
speed can be kind of inconsistent.
yeah. He accelerates well and he has good speed, but like yeah, his like agility is like a little bit not there. Like
So-
he just doesn't look as fluid, you know.
I pulled
Dude,
up
where-
I pulled up the Connecticut numbers.
What? Mhm.
It is 10-5 was the Connecticut record. That
Okay.
was but the most recent one was 10-7 too. So he would have
Mm-hmm.
he would have won Connecticut.
Yo, I need you to watch some Mike Sanderstill tape.
Mike Sainristil still
Yeah.
did a little bit, but he is just a crazy playmaker and he's a slot guy. He had 6 interceptions.
Cuz did you change your draft board since this one that you sent me?
Which one? Where's Sainristil still right now?
You have him as like in the orange.
18.
It's so low.
I'm gonna come up on him probably. I have not gotten a
17th.
cornerback.
You have him
I-
17th.
I haven't gotten a cornerback I haven't
yeah.
finished it. I've only again.
I'm
I've
I'm
only
gonna
gotten
watch
to
his
second place.
tape too. I will tell you, I don't think he's gonna finish there for you. I think he's
Higher
like
or
from
lower?
what I've heard, he's the best slot corner in the class.
I have technically Cooper DeJean is my slot one. Technically, because I think that's where he ends up
I
playing.
don't know if I like him as much. Like
I
in
can't
the
see him at the
slot.
boundary every day. I see him as a
No.
hybrid. I don't think he can play a boundary
What do you
every
think?
day.
Because like I do like can see it in the slot as in like like he's a physical guy. He can affect run defense really well as well, which is like what you want. But like and I thought like more like slot guys like you want more quick twitch, and I don't know if he's like just not that fluid.
I think that honestly, it might be Gerard Jones, just because I watched FSU DBs, and then Gerard Jones had like a 26 passer rating allowed in
Oh,
total.
Jarian Jones?
Yeah, Jarian or Jarian is
Oh
some
yeah,
weird
Sorry,
pronunciation.
no, I thought you said a different name. when you said
He and again also technically Kamari Lassiter because he's probably gonna end up playing in the slot. But my best pure slot right now is Jarian Jones and then Mike Samron still, so he's my slot too.
Yeah, didn't he grade out like exceptionally well, Jones?
He was in like the 90s.
Yeah, 87 coverage grade.
And he played
And
good.
90 overall.
Like the LSU versus FSU game, Jones and Jones didn't play, so I didn't get to see him in that game. But I
Okay.
saw the not the Louisville. I forgot what it was. Which one was the one that he got an interception? It was Florida. I remember watching the Florida game because that was the game that they were going to be like, are they going to go undefeated or not? Basically,
Oh, I need to watch your Jonathan Brooks video.
I actually really like Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, that's
He-
because I saw you have him 35th.
I have him 35th because I'm so adding into the fact that this running back class is pure ass.
I
and
really
I have
like Trey Benson. I thought Trey Benson.
Yeah, Benson's my two. Benson's my two.
Yeah, and Peyton Wilson in there. That's nice.
Peyton Wilson, I just did my film on him. He's kind of like a freak athlete. He carried the hell out of that NC State defense. I just finished my film and I just finished my video on him. I'll post that in April.
Okay.
But yeah, he just kind of spears guys, and he is insanely fast. He ran a 4.43, but it shows up so big on tape because he multiple occasions he either was flying to hit a running back or like closing up like the quarterback will be here and Wilson will be like here on the field and he'll meet him. And it was crazy.
4.43 is really good, actually.
Insanely good for a
Yeah.
traditional inside linebacker, but he's
That's ridiculous.
He's a bit smaller. He can get pushed back. He can stand up a little too tall when he's tackling and he can
JT?
yards after the cap or yards after contact.
Talk to me about JT Sanders. Is he 39?
Where?
That seems a little high.
Oh, Jatavion?
Yeah.
I like
Seems
Jatavion.
a little high.
It is a little high, but it's more or less. I think that the gap between Bowers and Sanders is a lot closer than people think. He's
Okay.
good after the catch. He did not drop a ball, and he's got extremely secure hands. Good athletic traits as well. He ran a 4.69 at the combine. I thought the speed was pretty good. Great in the red zone. I think that was.
I feel like 4.69 is a little slow for him.
I thought it was a lot faster.
thought it was.
I thought it was a lot faster in game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's what I meant. Like, that's slow for him.
But yeah,
I think didn't he try to put on weight for the combine? Maybe that's why he was slower.
he's around 240 something pounds. He's not the heaviest
Okay.
guy, but more importantly, I love that he had 0 drops and
Yeah, that is good.
he was a productive guy at Texas. He was a ton of. So is the white guy the best cornerback in the draft? IMO. He is talking about Cooper
He's
DeJean.
up there.
I mean, is he the only white cornerback in the draft?
Yes, I think so.
So yeah, why wouldn't he get paid from players and agents? I don't know it. Aren't PBUs noted weirdly in general? Yeah.
They can be.
That comment might have been from a while ago because I did turn off my phone, which is where I was looking at the comments.
Yeah, I wasn't looking either. That's sorry, Andre.
But yeah.
Hopefully you're still here.
Outside of,
Some good streaming
That-
quality by us there.
I'm not the best streamer. I never look at the I'm always super late to notice the
I
comments.
had it open for like half an hour and then I shut it off and that's when you get the comment.
But yeah, other than that, I am the tackle class, it really loses me in the middle. The guard class loses me in the end. The center class loses me. I need to get into the. I haven't done my defense, but I've done all my statistics and all my stuff for the offense. I'm gonna get ready to do my last film breakdown, which is JJ McCarthy, which I think in the mid-April, right before the draft, I'm just gonna do a bunch of film, just so I can just
Yeah.
learn more players.
Yo, Andre, what were you talking about in the middle comment? Who wouldn't get paid?
Why wouldn't he get paid from players and agents for him to put them higher up? Since that definitely is taking to what? I don't understand that.
Yeah. Oh, is my screen frozen on you?
No,
On the stream, it looked frozen.
no,
Maybe I
I
just
see
wasn't
it.
moving.
It doesn't look frozen.
I'm talking about draft board analysts.
What?
Oh, I see.
Is he saying that agents are gonna pay like people like me to put them higher,
Not you.
like puff
There's
pieces?
no chance.
Bro,
But
I wish.
maybe you're talking about like more of the bigger guys.
Maybe he's talking about, like,
Theo
PFF.
Ash or something.
Theo Ash doesn't even like him, but I understand. But maybe he's talking about like PFF because PFF has him 8th on their board, and PFF, I don't know how they evaluate their draft prospects, and I don't think we'll ever know because I don't see them talking about
I
that in
see.
the Discord.
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying. I guess there's no way to really know, Andre, honestly.
Mel Kiper, I don't think he can get paid. I don't think he's allowed to. I think that'd be tampering.
Well, yeah, no, it would.
I
But
think
like,
same thing with Daniel Jeremiah because he's a media analyst who can influence the outcomes, and I don't think you can. I mean, maybe he probably
it would be
is paid,
tampering, but like at the end of the day, like,
well,
is
it would only. It
possible?
would,
Sure,
the big
but-
thing is betting odds. Betting odds.
Yeah.
So,
But
'cause
like,
that's
is
the
it like,
problem with
is it possible that exists? Maybe.
I mean,
but-
I wouldn't put it past people to.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
right? Like
it's-
people try to find a way to squeeze money out of everything. So
Yeah,
Why
and
would they do
also,
this?
oh, my camera died. R.I.P.
all good. I will carry your stream.
All right, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep that off. But yeah,
Are you using the 12 millimeter?
Is yours not plugged in or what?
the wide lens. Yeah.
The wide angle, yeah.
But yeah.
Oh.
What was
Oh,
that?
yeah, never happens, Andre. That's
It's because my battery. I swear this thing does not last more than 2 hours. I think it has a 2 hour
I see.
cap.
All right, Andre. You got any cool questions? Any other cool questions?
I can teach you.
It's
how
cool
to do
interacting with the
It's
chat.
a wireless It's a wireless battery.
Nah, it's like a battery. It's like a
Battery pack.
No, it's like a dummy battery, and like you look at the.
Oh yeah, he's muted now. All right, it's all on me, guys. It's all on me to carry this thing.
I'm back.
Don't
Yeah,
let me touch
tampering.
it. I'm not touching.
Oh yeah,
it.
you
Oh,
fucking
we
got the
go.
flu, bro.
Turn it over. You
Right
see
here?
That middle.
Ooh.
No, that middle notch right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, relatively new
like,
to football.
there's,
Fair
like, a
enough.
battery
What
where, like, you can
team?
put-
What team do you like?
I don't know. I'll figure it
you
out.
can like put like a port through it, and then you can have unlimited battery.
Okay. What was he talking about? And we all know that tampering doesn't ever happen. Well, yeah. Not really. I'm relatively new to football. Football is a cool sport to get into.
It is. I'm pretty new myself. Well, relatively at least. I only started watching like when the pandemic started. That's when I started getting into football.
I just want to play, bro.
Yeah, I got into it 2018, freshman year of high school.
But like I knew nothing. Like
I played football, but I played like fucking pee-wee, so.
I played like flag 11s in the summers, but like that's and like I wasn't even into football at all. And then I just started picking it up as I got older. Now it's like my hobby, you know. It's cool.
Yeah, I would definitely try to. For me, I'm definitely trying to make. I mean, I'd rather do this, and I could do a bunch of things, but I'd rather do this and fucking. I'd
Oh,
rather get paid a
certainly,
little
man.
less. I'd rather get paid a little less to get extremely close to football than get paid a
Yeah.
lot more to do something that I couldn't care less about.
That's exactly yeah.
But it's competitive as hell, and you also have to like beg people, and like it's just you gotta just do
It is
whatever
hard,
you
for sure.
can just to fucking make it.
Yo, so when you said you were talking about the draft stream, you're gonna have other people on here, right?
I'm gonna probably only have one or two.
Okay.
It depends. I
'Cause
might want to get
what I
another
was
one.
thinking, like, you could like do a stream, because you know how you can make polls on Zoom. We could like do a stream
I wouldn't do it
where
on
we
Zoom. I wouldn't hold it's this isn't
or
gonna hold
okay.
up because it only 30 minutes and I'm having so much trouble. I think it would do it on Discord. It's just I wouldn't have my camera on, just because I would have my
Okay,
camera
okay.
on for this.
On film on your video.
Yeah, but it would definitely be. I'm
Yeah.
I'm only counting on people for day one, and then day two would be more like my day, and then for day three, it's up in
Yeah.
the air. I don't know because
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna be
wouldn't.
extremely
I'd
tired,
come to day one. Day two, I don't think I'm not sure if I'm free.
just like casually watch it. Yeah, just like casually
Like
watch the
if I,
draft.
I feel like if I get enough analysis done, then I'll stream. But I just like I don't think I'll have enough of a grasp of like a lot of positions to
Yeah, I think I really
do
have
analysis.
all of my knowledge is really highly in not a few positions. I think I've watched a good diverse amount of film.
But like day one and second
It's
round.
like day one guys. I've pretty much watched film on every day one projected guy, and
Mhm.
then for the other positions, it would be like pretty much only the top five that I even know a good amount about to speak confidently. That's why kind of like for day three, it would be I would only either do round
Okay.
4 and 5, and then or I wouldn't
Yeah.
do it at all, and I would just take that day to do other draft content because this is
Mhm.
qualified as like my final for the class from independent study, the draft
No
stream.
way. That's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, I
That's
would love to
freaking
do
dope.
another draft stuff for school credit. It just
Hmm.
I really have to take a lot of man hours to do it, and I have to do multiple channels like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Yeah.
Substack, Patreon, the board, all my like my 50-page,
Hmm.
probably gonna go on like 60, 70 pages of statistics. All my prospect breakdowns have over 100 pages of like written stuff
Oh, really?
for
Damn,
those.
dude.
It's not like
Mm.
it's not like that the class demanded it. It's just it's a
Yeah.
senior level class, and I had to really make a big effort and make a big
Hmm.
like impression basically. But
No,
yeah,
for sure.
it's also because YouTube. I wanted to really make
How
this the jump.
do analysts judge QBs with bad offensive lines? Are QBs with a low time to throw judged as harshly
They're
for
not
getting sacked, as an example?
they're not judged as
So,
harshly, I would say.
no, no. Yeah, if you have a bad O line, like at the end of the day, that's just factors kind of beyond your control. What you do need to take into account, one stat that is pretty good for analyzing like offensive line play or like getting sacked for QBs, pressure to sack ratio,
Mm-hmm.
which is how many like what percentage of the players like what percentage of times that the QB is pressured is he getting sacked? That's like a metric that's stays pretty stable, like from college to NFL as well. And it's also like, okay,
getting teamed on, bro?
you can now gauge it like kind of independent of O-line, more or less, where it's like, let's say I got sacked 10 times, Alex got sacked 5 times. I got pressured way more. Obviously, I'm gonna get sacked 5 times, 10 times. But if you look at the like pressure to sack ratio, it's how well you can evade pressure, how well you can read pressure and avoid sacks.
Yeah, that's why guys like Spencer Rattler aren't completely dogged because South Carolina's
Yeah.
offensive line has no draftable players, and
Mhm.
he's like projected within the day like
I
in day
would
3 or
I
day 2.
would take I would take Rattler in the second if like
Second, whoa, god damn.
late
Oh my god.
late second, mid second.
I mean, I have him as a fifth rounder. I'm just so not impressed by Rattler.
Really?
Like anything. I mean, I also know his like because I watched the his high school thing. He was highly like he was an all
Yeah.
won the elite 11 or
Yeah, I
something
think
camp.
like
He was an
he's
asshole.
yeah, no, he was. But I think like he's matured. I think
I
he
don't know. He's
has.
also older. Like he's been in college football for a long time and he hasn't been really productive. His arm
Yeah.
talent is there, I get it, but like he's
I
erratic.
honestly would take him, maybe not like late second, third round. If you take him in the third round, I think it's a good pick.
Honestly, that's probably where he goes. It's just more of
Yeah.
like I'm just a lot lower on a ton of these quarterbacks.
Mm.
Other than the big
Yeah, you're
the
lower on McCarthy.
I can't I don't I guarantee you I won't have Carthy higher than a day 2 like late second round. I do not think I think
Wow.
McCarthy needs to sit for a long time minimum. My notes. I haven't watched the film yet, but this is what I've gotten from how many games I've watched. So much.
Michigan.
Not Michigan, but games. Like I've watched him the last 3 years, even when he was a freshman, and they were using him in such crazy ways. So my notes on him right now are goes as follows. He is great at like once he's out of the pocket, he's still extremely effective because he can throw on the run at an elite level. I think I saw a stat where it was 71% completion percentage on throws on the run. He's got very consistent footwork. I always see stuff on Twitter, him showing off his footwork. Doesn't waste any steps. I like that. Great. Consistently accurate. He had a 72% accuracy, good in the pocket when kept clean. However, my weaknesses are his deep accuracy can vary from dimes to absolute floaters. He can be erratic under pressure. I think he has a one velocity throwing style. Everything is one velocity. It's hard and fast. And I don't think he has a lot of touch between the balls. He can throw behind receivers. Some of the balls will end up at receivers' feet. His arm strength shows in velocity, but not distance. Balls can die at receivers' feet, or they have to track back to balls. And he's also a solid but not elite scrambler. And he can also get stuck in his first read. But again, I haven't watched the film yet, but my player comp right now is Zach Wilson. I think they play pretty much 1-to-1. It's not necessarily...
Why do you have him if he's Zach Wilson, how do you have him as a second rounder?
Because Zach Wilson, I thought, could have worked out as well.
I actually think Zach Wilson could still work.
Yeah, I mean, I think JJ McCarthy could work. It's going to take... He cannot start day one. If he starts day one...
Yeah, he needs to sit.
Unless it's the Vikings and he can work with like Justin Jefferson in a good line, then maybe, but he is not ready. He's also 20 years old. Or 21.
I think if you put him on the Vikings, like the year one will probably not be that good. But I think that starting him in a good situation will be better, still good for him in the long run. It's a lot of sitting is like, okay, you want him to sit and learn, but it's also because you don't want to send him out to the Wolves. You put him on the Vikings. He at least he has elite receiving weapons. He has a good O-line. He is an amazing play caller. That's something you can work with, and like something that'll help him develop instead of like inhibit his development.
Yeah. Any other players before I get going? It's at the 2-hour mark. I gotta take a shower.
Oh yeah, damn. We've been streaming a while.
I've been at the computer all day today, and then I gotta go back. I gotta go drive back to school tomorrow.
Damn.
I swear. I hope my class is canceled. But any other position groups that you've been looking at? I know we talked about everything, but really offensive line
groups. Yeah,
and running back.
O-line.
Running back actually, I do want to talk a little bit about running back. What are your thoughts on what are your thoughts? I mean, I really don't like the running back class overall, and I have a ton of guys.
It's not that good.
I have a ton of guys
some decent players.
That, I'm really low on.
Has some decent players. Like I think it's like it's just because it's not a good class. I think some players are getting overhyped. Like Guerrero.
I got him at 6.
He's overhyped.
I got him
he's
at 6.
He's a little overhyped because of his combine. I think Braylon Allen is too overhyped.
I got him at 11, but I have him as the 5th round. I have him as a 5th rounder. He's not that great.
Yeah, 11. One guy I like is the Kentucky kid, the Kentucky guy.
Ray Davis. I have him 9th.
Yeah, 9th. Yeah, I liked him. Like I think he's like obviously not a game changer, but I think he can be like a really good complementary back type of thing.
My top 3 guys, my only guys that I think should ever go day 2 are Brooks, Benson, and Wright.
And Jalen Wright?
Yeah, Jalen Wright. Dude's got real explosiveness, and he had a 7.1. Yeah, 7.1 yards per carry. And then I have Blake Corum at 4, Bucky Irving 5, Isaac Guerendo.
Yeah.
Isaac Guerendo,
have you seen Bucky Irving tape?
Yeah. It's a lot better than what the combine said. His tape is
low-key good.
Yeah, his tape is good. That's why I have him at 5. I mean, he is arguably the best receiving back in this class, and he has he's not the best between the tackles. He's a little bit smaller and also doesn't have the best athletic traits, but his shiftiness and his change of direction is really elite. But he had like a 2 RAS score, and I factor in like athletic
Yeah.
traits heavily for running backs. Like Esteem, he ran a 4.7, but he's a bowling ball, so
Yeah.
it didn't affect me as much. But guys like Garendo, he really like he was crazy explosive. Even at it, like he was really a part-time player at Louisville. Also massive injury history, but when that USC game, like he 3 touchdowns, and also good size as well. He's like 6 foot, 220 pounds, and ran a 4.33. But it's more or less this running back class isn't good enough for me to argue one guy or the other. It's more or less like if I like a guy, I'm gonna put him above guys that I'm just like I could not care less about. Like a lot of these running backs, I couldn't care less about, and then they're gonna end up being like either bottom of the roster running backs or like
That's fair.
like part of a RBC, part of a committee.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'm good because yeah, we've been streaming a while.
Yeah,
That was a lot of fun, man.
course.
I have a blast whenever I'm doing this. So
yeah. We got to get
let's do it again soon. I need to finish my receiver rankings. It's been tough for me to get stuff done, but I am looking forward to finishing my receiver rankings and having real takes and like touching up my stuff. And I'll also finish my corners in the next few weeks. I'll have to grind a lot, but
Yeah. It'll
it's
come
definitely worth it.
the fluid. I because it reminds me a lot of when I started out. I had just a bunch of information and that I had just had to get it out. But once you get a lot more experienced, it gets it gets a little easier and a little faster.
I think my tape watching is also just slow.
I would rather tape be slow than fast. I think I go way too
No,
fast.
yeah,
I
obviously.
I can miss stuff. I think I can definitely miss stuff, but
Yeah.
I think for the takes, you've got to get them out quickly because you got to keep people watching. But I think
Right.
watching tape, you got to be more diligent, and that's what I've been really working on in the last couple of years, since like 2022 when I started.
Yeah, because there's just so much tape. Like you have to be efficient, right?
Yeah, and you can only watch a couple of games, and they really have to be. That's why I like to go with, depending on the games available, the worst game, the best game, and a game that can just show a bunch of things about him. Like I remember.
Yeah, I've kind of done like I sort of look at that. I try to do a good game, a weaker game, and then like for corners, I'm like, oh, there's a game where he has 10 targets. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I was about to say like Arnold. I picked a Ole Miss interception in that game. I picked Georgia
I also
because
did Ole Miss.
I wanted to go against I wanted to see how he went up against Ledham Conkey. And then I did Texas as well because I wanted to see how he went up against
Okay.
Mitchell and Worthy. And then it was the
I
other
did Ole
game.
Miss LSU.
I did LSU because I wanted to see how he went up against Neighbors. But he really didn't go up
And
against
I
Neighbors that
did
much.
A&M. And I did A&M